Hello everyone, welcome back. For 6 years, I lived without a bedroom light because I thought the overhead lamp was broken. It turns out it was fine and was just set to a dim setting the whole time. Post from r/TIFU by living in a dark bedroom for 6 years. The overhead fan in our bedroom uses one of those compact halogen light bulbs. 6 years ago, the bulb burned out and became really dim, just barely a glow. I bought a replacement bulb, but when I put that one in, it was also barely lighting up. That's when I realized the unit was bad. The fan still worked great. It is literally the best fan I've ever had because it moves a ton of air and is super quiet. The fan had also been a gift when we moved into our house. The unit cost over $400, so I didn't really want to replace it, even though our bedroom doesn't get much natural light and is pretty dark. So, since then, over the years, my wife and I have had to make do with no overhead light. We open the windows during the day and, at night, use a combination of bedside lamps and the bathroom light. It's never really as good as overhead lighting, so I keep some flashlights up there for when we are cleaning or looking for something, etc. After 6 years of living in the dark, this winter I just decided I would replace the thing. But before I did, I thought I'd try one last time with another bulb because, however unlikely, it's possible both bulbs I had tried were bad. So, I'm up there installing the new bulb. I grab the remote, the fan has a remote, and as I'm turning the light on, I realize the thing is dimmable. For 6 years, we lived with the inconvenience of no overhead light, and the whole time, it was just because the fan was set to dim. What a realization. Next story. Post from r/today I effed up by buying everyone an Ancestry DNA kit and ruining Christmas. Earlier this year, Ancestry DNA had a sale on their kit. I thought it would be a great gift idea, so I bought 6 of them as Christmas presents. Today, my family got together to exchange presents for our Christmas Eve tradition, and I gave my mom, dad, brother, and 2 sisters each a kit. As soon as everyone opened their gifts at the same time, my mom started freaking out. She told us she didn't want us taking them because they had unsafe chemicals. We explained to her that there were actually no chemicals involved, but we could tell she was still flustered. Later, she began trying to convince us that only one of us kids needed to take it since we would all have the same results and suggested reselling the extra kits to save money. Fast forward, our parents have been fighting upstairs for the past hour, and we are downstairs trying to figure out who has a different dad. Update, thank you so much for all the love and support. My sisters, brother, and I have not yet decided whether we will take the test. No matter what the results are, we will still love each other and our parents no matter what. Update 2, Christmas is not ruined. My mistake actually turned into a Christmas miracle. It turns out my sister's father passed away shortly after she was born. A good friend of my mom's helped her through the darkest time in her life, and they went on to fall in love and create the rest of our family. They never told us because of how hard it was for my mom. Last night, she was strong enough to share stories and photos with us for the first time, and it truly brought us even closer together as a family. This is a Christmas we will never forget. And yes, we are all excited to get our test results. Merry Christmas, everyone. P.S. Sorry, my mom is not a terrible person. And no, you are not my dad. Next story. Tales from your server, story of how Charles Barkley got my coworker fired. I think nearly 2 years is enough time to go by for me to tell this story. Let's go back to March 2023. At the time, I was 22, and I had this coworker named Rain, around 45, female, whom I absolutely hated. I mean, I despised her from the depths of my soul. It was so bad that I refused to work shifts with her because she was so rude, disrespectful, and condescending. Anyway, this particular week was the start of March Madness. Because of where we're located in the city, we typically get a lot of athletes and teams in for business lunches and dinners. On this day, I was working when my managers came in excited about Charles Barkley, CB. I knew who he was, but I didn't really care. Fast forward to later that night, about 90 minutes before closing, and the hellspawn herself walked in. On her way to the bar, she passed our manager, Ashley, who was so excited about meeting, talking to, and taking a picture with CB that she blurted it all out as soon as Rain was within earshot. Rain responded, loud as ever, CB, that fat guy, I can't stand him. Ashley admonished her and told her to be quiet, mostly because CB's family was still within hearing distance but also because she was drawing other tables' attention. But, as usual, Rain was on her nonsense and didn't stop, continuing to talk about how much she disliked CB. Ashley walked away and told the bartenders that Rain was cut off and couldn't order anything. For context, Rain wasn't really drunk, just lightly tipsy, but she acted like an obnoxious drunk 24/7. Our company has a policy about employees drinking on days they've been scheduled to work. Rain had worked that morning, so technically, she wasn't supposed to drink at the bar. However, our managers would allow it as long as we maintained discretion and decorum while doing so. Anyway, After Ashley told Rain she was cut off, Rain got belligerent. She called Ashley a buzzkill, the B word, and some other unsavory things. Ashley kicked her out, but Rain refused to leave. Instead, she stayed and tried to mock Ashley with the bartenders. Jump to the next day, and Rain came into work like nothing happened. Of course, she got called into the office and written up. Instead of apologizing or admitting she was in the wrong, she doubled down and cursed out the managers on duty, Ashley and David. She was so delusional about the situation that she even emailed our general manager, Carl, asking for Ashley and David to be written up for bullying and harassment. At that point, I guess Carl had finally gotten tired of all the complaints from servers and support staff about Rain. Paired with her unhinged email, he decided to let her go. I was insanely happy with that decision and very glad I didn't have to follow through with my plan to trip her down the stairs. The lesson here? Don't drink at your workplace, don't call Charles Barkley a fat guy and cuss out your managers, and sometimes wishful thinking really does work. Next story. Story from r/am jerk, Ada for refusing to go on a family trip unless they disinvite my nephew's friend. I, 43 am really close to my family, which includes my siblings, their spouses, their kids, and my parents. Every year, we go on a vacation around this time for 2 weeks and return right before Christmas. We're supposed to leave a week from today. I am a divorced, single, sole parent to my daughter, 15F. She jokingly calls herself a nerd, she's quirky, loves anime, video games, and Star Wars, fitting the stereotypical nerd persona. She does get bullied at school, but since leaving middle school and maturing, she has learned to handle it better, and most of the bullying has stopped. However, there's one boy, Jeff, 16M, presumably, who is coincidentally my nephew's best friend, and he's an absolute nightmare. I've spoken to the school, attended meetings with his parents, and even had my daughter's classes switched around extensively, but Jeff still goes out of his way to bully her. She told me she can handle name-calling, but his behavior goes far beyond that. He pulls her hair, rips her clothes, and destroys her belongings. Last year, they even got into a fist fight, which led to both of them being suspended because he stole her backpack and put it into a toilet in the boys' bathroom. When I was discussing the trip plans with my sister, she mentioned needing to buy Jeff a winter coat. When I realized he was going on the trip, I nearly lost it. Without thinking, I told her that my daughter and I wouldn't be going. She began pleading with me, citing family tradition and the importance of us being there. I firmly said no, adding that I'd even forfeit our share of the cost. After a lengthy discussion, I said I would only go if they disinvited Jeff. We grew up in a financially stable home with attentive, supportive parents, and our kids have had similar upbringings. Jeff, however, wasn't as fortunate. He lives in an unstable environment both financially and emotionally, which was evident during the meetings with his parents. His father was indifferent, and his mother blamed my daughter, calling her evil. While I feel deeply sorry for any child in such a situation, I told my sister that my position remains unchanged. The conversation turned into her offering excuses. She said Jeff has divorced parents, grew up differently than us, and even suggested that his behavior might stem from a crush. Gross. When I brought up the fight, she simply replied, I know, but Jeff needs this. She argued that he needed a break from his toxic home life. While I respect that sentiment, I asked why my daughter should be forced to spend 2 weeks in a house with her tormentor. I stood my ground and went home. Now, there's chaos. My family is divided, my parents are begging me to go, and my phone hasn't stopped buzzing with messages. My daughter said she wouldn't go if Jeff goes, and she even had a panic attack over the thought. Maybe I'm seeking validation, or perhaps I need a wake-up call and I really am being selfish. Am I the jerk?